Welcome to the award-winning show, Cool Kids Cook with Kid Chef Eliana. Your host, Eliana, is a 3-time cookbook author and foodie. Listen as Eliana interviews the nation's culinary movers and shakers, explores ingredients from around the world, and shares her tasty recipes. Here's your host, Kid Chef Eliana.
Welcome to the program, Cool Kids Cook. I'm Kid Chef Eliana, a cookbook author, foodie, and your show host. Here's what's happening with me. This past couple of weeks, I cooked some delicious food. More in a bit. I worked at a few events as well. Tune in for more. I slept over at my friend's house and attended my other friend's Sweet 16. I'll talk all about it later. I also had a cooking demonstration at the Southern Food and Beverage Museum here in New Orleans that was filmed by the Food Network. Listen in for more. Plus, I went to a fabulous dinner at Perlu. More about my meal in a bit. We also made some yummy Spanish food and culinary arts at Noca. I'll tell you all about it later. Now, I'm excited to introduce our special guest, baker and owner of the Royal Bakery, Logan Lott. While in culinary school, Logan was offered a position in the kitchen at Emeril's New Orleans, Emeril Lagasse's flag restaurant in New Orleans, whom he'd always dreamed of working for. He worked his way from the bottom of the ladder on the hot side of the kitchen, then to the pastries department. During his long hours, he found he had a passion for baking and bread. This led to Logan working in the bread department and eventually taking over the position of head bread baker for a year at the restaurant. During his time in the pastries department at Emeril's, Logan and his wife discovered that they both had an interest in decorating cakes, pastries, and baking bread. They started baking bread, sweets, and decorating cakes for family and close friends. Word of mouth spread quickly, and they outgrew their small personal kitchen and moved on to build a small bakery out of Logan's parents' garage. Logan would go and sell sweets once a week to local businesses, drumming up talk about the upcoming bakery and orders, as well as building a customer base. In 2013, the Royal Bakery storefront opened for business, offering breads, pastries, lunch options, and cakes. Chef Logan, thank you so much for being a guest on the show, and welcome to Cool Kids Cook.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Now, I have also had the privilege of working with Chef Emeril Lagasse. So, what made you dream of working with this legendary chef?
Well, actually, growing up, I've always wanted to work for Chef Emeril Lagasse. It's always been a dream of mine. Due to the fact that my uncle was he was the big manager at the flagship restaurant for a very long time, Tony Lott, and he is now the director of operations for the company, as well as my aunt, Beth Lott. She runs Emerils.com. I've been on a couple of his shows growing up, Good Morning America, a couple different things like that, and been to New York and different things like that to his shows, and it's always been a dream of mine to work for him, and one day that dream came true.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm sure it must have been really awesome, working under Chef Emeril and everyone else in the restaurant. It's really awesome. I mean, I've worked with him a couple of times since I go to Noca, and there are lots of different Emeril events that we work at. And so I've got to work with him a couple of times, and it's been really great. We've done a bunch of galas and Carnival de Vin and Boudin Bourbon and Beer, and he's just really fantastic. He's such a great guy, and
Absolutely.
So I'm sure it was really great working, for Chef Emeril Lagasse.
Yep, absolutely.
Now I know that you were head of the bread department at the world famous Emeril's restaurant. So I know that must have been quite a job. So what was it like working there, and what types of breads did you make in-house?
Well, working there was very interesting, and I'd say in comparison to you, I started very young. You're a lot younger than me, but I started very young in a five-star restaurant atmosphere, and took on a large responsibility at such a young age, and it was very interesting. Let's say that. We had a great time. I did a lot of work under Chef Emeril Lagasse, but my head chef was David Slater, great chef. I did a lot of breads for the bakery, in the bakery department for the restaurant. We did all the way from potato bread to sweet potato bread to focaccia to ciabatta. We would make different, we'd make brioche buns for the hamburgers. We'd make Pullman loaves for the BLFGT sandwiches. We'd also make croutons we'd make bread for croutons for the salads. We'd even make some really delicious sweet cornbread, and we'd serve it up all hot and fresh for the customers, and they'd eat a ton of it. We'd make sometimes, 500, 600, 700 pieces of cornbread a night, and that's just the cornbread, and not to mention all the other bread they'd go through.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot of bread. Every single day you're making bread, and I'm sure it's like constant, non-stop.
Oh, man, absolutely. But it was an experience, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And now you can use that experience that you have, to own, your own bakery that you have now, which is really fantastic. So, you're just kind of taking what you learned and putting it to something else, which is really great. And
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, all those breads sound really amazing. I could eat all of those. I love bread. One of my favorite breads is actually just like zucchini bread, and that one's really great. And I've actually made like instead of zucchini bread, I did cucumber bread, and it was it's kind of the the same thing as like zucchini, and it's got like the same kind of water content, so it's really good.
Yeah.
Sourdough is
sounds
really
interesting.
Awesome. I don't know. I feel like
sourdough is really good.
And there's lots of different
It's
breads.
very hard to make, I'll tell you that. As far as it's a very, very wet dough.
I've never made it, but one day I'll make it, but I loved it. I love, doing like different breads, and I love making focaccia, and I do like baguettes. Those are always really good, and their baguettes are actually just really quick and easy, and they don't take as long as a lot of other breads, that have to proof for like 4 hours or whatever. Now, I know that also finding a mentor is really important in the culinary world, but not just the culinary world, all, different fields. But can you tell me about your mentor at Emerald's, and how did it shape what you're doing today?
Well, actually, with working at such a large restaurant, there's a ton of people that come in and out through there. I can't give it to one person. I had a ton of different mentors, and to name a few, Chef David Slater was one of my big mentors. We butted heads a couple times here and there, but that's what happens. You get better, and you become a great chef, cook, whatever it may be, or a leader in general. Another great leader, another great mentor would be John Lenz, who taught me how to roll bread. We'd have competitions when I worked in the pastry department. He'd work on the other side of the table with me rolling bread, and to help him get out sooner, but to also teach me the ropes and stuff like that. We'd have competitions of who can roll a pan of potato bread the fastest. And what he appreciated about me is that I didn't cut corners. And it come to find out sooner than later, I was rolling them not only faster, but I was rolling them better than him. So he was happy. Needless to say, he was happy.
Well, it still sounds like you're having fun though. But it's really great to have mentors like that. And I've actually worked with chefs David Slater a few times at Emerald Lagasse events. He seems like an awesome guy. So I'm sure.
Yeah, super chef, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he's great to have as a mentor. So but it's great to have lots of mentors, especially in the culinary world. You have lots of chef mentors, and I have a lot of chef mentors, such as Emerald Lagasse, and Chef Paul Prudhomme was one of my mentors, and Chef Jose Andres, Chef John Besh, and a lot of different people. And so it's really great to look up to them, and you can ask them questions, and if you need advice, they're there. So it's great to have that, and it's
Absolutely.
in a lot of other fields, and it really helps you succeed and become successful. You always have that background and kind of that foundation from them.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that also helped you be successful with your own bakery. With the Royal Bakery, you're now baker and owner of that. So what's it like having your own store, and what kinds of breads and pastries do you make there?
Yeah. Well, owning my own bakery, with it, I use the term a newborn business because it is a newborn business. It's starting from the bottom, and that's what we are doing. We take each order with pride and passion, and we love what we do. At the bakery, we do a ton of different things. We're not your average bakery, and I tell this to people all the time, but we're really not. I have big goals and big dreams for this bakery. I have a huge facility that I bake out of and operate out of with just a small staff. It's me, my mother, my wife comes in and helps do custom cakes, and I also have a baker, a good friend of mine that I've met in the last year, who's become a great helper, Thomas Arsenault, who's been great help for me. We bake all kinds of different things, from cupcakes to ooey gooeys to brownies to, we do cake pops. We also do in-house sandwiches. We do breads. We do loaves of bread. Eventually, once I'm looking to get my foot traffic up some more. We're still kind of hidden. As funny as it sounds, we're still kind of hidden on Woodland Highway, and we'd like to get our foot traffic up so I can make some more breads. All the breads that I mentioned before, I'd love to offer here, especially when it comes down to seasonal times for like the cornbread and stuff like that. The cornbread is absolutely phenomenal, and all my breads are delicious, and they're all handmade and all made in house. So I can't wait to expand that selection. But we do have French bread and different things like that we offer, currently.
Wow, that is awesome. So, you have an awesome selection, and I actually did have your ooey gooey cake, and that was really delicious. I love that. I shared it
Thank you.
my friends, and they
appreciate
loved
that.
it. So I'll definitely have to stop by and get some more there. I mean, you have so many different options.
Yep, got to come show you around over here.
Definitely, I will. Well, that sounds really great. So everyone should definitely check out the Royal Bakery. Well, buy some beautifully baked bread. We'll be right back. I'm Kid Chef Eliana, and you're listening to Cool Kids Cook. To Cool Kids Cook. I'm Kid Chef Eliana. Let's continue our interview with Logan Lott, baker and owner of the Royal Bakery in Belchase, Louisiana. So let's find out more about you personally, Chef Logan. What's your favorite dish to cook, and what's your favorite dish to eat?
Well, honestly, I really, believe it or not, enjoy cooking. I love to cook, even though I am a baker. I started cooking when I was very young. My two favorite go-to dishes, which I still to this day absolutely love. I love a delicious, really good homemade shepherd's pie, and I also really love a delicious, really good homemade scratch chicken Alfredo. I'm a pasta lover. I love some good pasta, and I do love a good shepherd's pie too. So I love to cook and eat both of those dishes a bit much more than I should.
Definitely. I love pasta too, and I especially love making my own pasta, so that's a really good one. I mean, homemade
Absolutely.
pasta just tastes so much better than getting it in a box. I mean, that's fine too, but you know, it boils in like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's so
It's incredible. People don't even know the half of it. When I worked at Emerald's, we'd make we wouldn't make it was very few things we wouldn't make in house, but we did get fresh pasta, and yeah, it would boil like in like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It was just like wow.
Yeah, exactly.
It was incredible.
And people are like, "Oh my gosh, wait, pasta only takes that long?" Yeah, well, if you make it
That's
fresh.
Right. If it's fresh.
Exactly. Well, can you share with our listeners your funniest or most disastrous food memory?
Sure, absolutely. I'll tell you, I've had many funny memories. I've had many disastrous memories working at. I had many funny memories working at Emerald's, and I'll tell you one of the disastrous memories I'll share with you is when we very first started. When I went full time with the bakery out of my mother and father's garage, we got this pretty big order for, and we use the term down the road, but it was in Buras, Louisiana, about an hour and a half drive from where we are. Especially with the speed that I was going, I had a 5-tiered cake in the back, and not to mention we are self-taught bakers and stuff, so everything is trial and error. We were about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes out from the house. Arriving to the house, and my wife screams that the cake at the bottom is just exploding in a sense that the sticks they weren't straight anymore. They were bending out, and then we had to figure out Plan B very, very quick. But we've learned from that, and every experience and every mishap we've had, or every great customer and every great order we've had, we've learned from it, and that's what being what being self-taught's all about. You've got to teach yourself everything you know. You learn from different people. You take and you take what you learn and you keep it and you build from it. But for most of it, you got to teach yourself if you choose that route.
Definitely. That reminds me, for my birthday, I tried to make my own cake. We'd made some cakes in culinary, and I thought, oh, well, if I could do it there, I can do it at home. And so, I made the cake, and it came out so horrible. Like, the sides were like all crusty and crispy, and then the inside was raw. It looked like a giant mound. And it was horrible. I mean, it tasted good, like the parts that were cooked, but it just was definitely not a very good birthday cake. And I definitely overestimated.
Hey, well, practice makes perfect, and if it doesn't, I can always make it perfect for you. I can get close.
Definitely,
to it,
I know. I should have just come to you. But I ended up just making some cupcakes that I stuffed, and I made my own buttercream, and everyone actually really loved it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good!" And I was like, "Really?" Because I made them last minute, and
very nice.
But
sometimes the best things pop up last minute.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't know the difference. They usually just get
Nope.
Eat whatever they just buy.
Yep.
But it still turned out well. So, just got to keep practicing. So, I'll have to just keep trying, and hopefully one day I'll make that cake that I will actually be proud of, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I actually made this cake myself.
Absolutely.
Well, and now, let's talk about unusual foods. What's the most unusual food you've ever eaten? Is there a food you would never eat again?
Well, working at Emerald's, I will say that they've had some very, very, very interesting things come through that kitchen. I've tried some duck liver. I've tried some really bizarre cheeses that Dave would make me try. Chef Dave would make me try. I tell you the most unusual food that I've tried I'd have to say would be sea urchin. Very, very, very interesting, and that's something I would never try again.
I've had a few people say that sea urchin was one of the most unusual. And, it's kind of thing, you love it or you hate it. Some people actually really liked it, and some people, like you, don't like it at all.
Some people pay good money for that stuff.
So is it like slimy, or what is it like?
It is just it's a combination of slimy grit. To me, it's not right. It's something that you shouldn't be eating, but hey, people love it. Some people love it.
Exactly. Well, I know you'll have that, probably not anytime soon.
That's right. Hopefully not.
Now, lastly, here's a wacky off-the-wall food question. This is perfect for you, too. If you could be any dessert in the world, what would you be and why?
That's a funny question you asked. Thinking about it, I'd probably have to say, working at Hermos and stuff like that, I'd say I'd be the banana cream pie, because a lot of people underestimate that bad boy, thinking that it's a very simple dessert, yet it's very complex. From scratch, making the crust to making the pastry cream from scratch, and cutting all the bananas and layering it in, layers and layers, and making the heavy cream from scratch, and even all the way down to shaving the chocolate bars, with your knife, and topping it off with a fresh piece of mint, and that's what I would be.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's got a lot of different layers. It seems really easy, but it's actually kind of it's really complex, and I like that.
That's right.
Now that really makes me want to eat a banana cream pie.
That's right.
That is a good one. I can practically just taste it in my mouth right now. That's definitely a good one to be. Well, thank you so much, Chef Logan, for being a guest on Cool Kids Cook.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you. Well, you've shown us that baking involves more than just bread, and that owning a bakery takes a lot of dedication, passion, and dough. If you want to find out more about Logan Lott of the Royal Bakery, visit KidChefEliana.com for all links. Have your cake and eat it too while we take a quick break. I'm Kid Chef Eliana, and you're listening to Cool Kids Cook. Welcome back. I'm Kid Chef Eliana, and it's Cool Kids Cook. It's time for Figure Out This Food. I have a game on my Facebook page called Figure Out This Food. I post a close-up of a food item, and the first 3 guesses get a shout-out here. Congratulations to Chris Trintis Costa and Sokwon Chow for guessing lotus root. Now, I had a very busy past couple of weeks, so I've got a lot to talk about. First of all, I cooked up a bunch of really delicious food, and and it was just so good. Actually, my mom and we made chicken tortilla soup, and that is my absolute favorite soup ever, and it is so simple and quick. It takes literally 20 minutes to make, and it's fabulous. It is the best soup ever. Like, I eat it every time, like, fall comes around and winter, it's soup time. That's the first soup I want to have, and it's so delicious. So you just put, like, the cheese on the bottom, then the soup on top of that, so it's, like, really melty and gooey, and then I put crumble, like, the tortilla chips on top, and it's so yummy. We also made garlic, chili, sesame chicken, and we put that into spring rolls with all kinds of fresh herbs, like lettuce and all that. And we also did some baby bok choy, and I did like black vinegar and soy sauce, sesame oil, all that good stuff. That was really, really yummy. And I also my mom made some chili, which was really yummy. It's just so good. I love chili, and the best part is when we make chili is we put the little Frito scoops on top of the chili, and you mix that in with like the cheese and all that, and it is so good. I love like the hot chili, and then you have that nice like salty, crunchy Frito. It's just like the perfect combo. A few events for school for NOCA. I did 2 service hour events, and then I did another event. So my first event that I did was open house. So we had like an open studio event at school at NOCA. So people could check out NOCA and see all the different arts disciplines. And it was just really, really busy. So it was on the weekend, on a Saturday, and I went there, and I got maybe 4 service hours. But it was really great. And it was actually really, really busy compared to like past years. So this was awesome. And I just thought that the open house was just going to be us in the kitchen. We were supposed to be doing canning demos for people to watch, and the chefs would talk a little bit about the culinary arts program, and we were just going to be there to help do some canning demos. But it was very different because it was so busy facility, and it was really great. And we talked the entire time. I didn't drink anything, and my mouth was so dry, my voice was getting hoarse from talking the whole time, but it was really fun, and they had some great people come in to check out the program, so I loved that. Then I also did another event called, it was like the Parkway Partners event at Gallier Hall, and it was actually just the students, and we kind of like ran the kitchen, I guess I could say. So they had a few, they had a lot of restaurants there that were just serving food, and a lot of them had to warm stuff up and even finish up some things in the oven. So we helped them out. A few restaurants serve their dishes. So it was just a really fun event, and helped clean up and set up and all that. Just delicious. And they had mothers there that was serving their debris with grits. Oh my gosh, that was so good. And Juan's Flying Burrito did a breakfast burrito. And it was awesome. And then at the end of the event, they had extra burritos, and so he gave me one. He's like, "Hey, do you want a burrito to take home?" I was like, "Sure, I'll eat this for lunch tomorrow for school." And so I had that the next day, and it was really, really good. It had chorizo and avocado, eggs and pepper jack and cheese and cheddar cheese. It was so yummy. Bayona was there, and they had what else? They had a sandwich. It was like pimento sandwich, I think, and I don't quite remember. It was really good though, and it was like a pressed sandwich. That was good. There was a salad with like candied pecans and cranberries in it. And then there was like a dessert room where it had all the different desserts. They had white chocolate macadamia cookies, bread, a few different bread puddings. There was a regular bread pudding. Then there was Bananas Foster's bread pudding from Cafe Reconcile. And then there was some other dessert, I don't remember. But everything there was really, really great. And I had a really fun time. And there was music and all of that. So that was awesome. And then I did the Crescent City Blues and Barbecue Festival. That they played the live music. It was fantastic. They had like arts and crafts, like people selling their stuff there at this event. It was a really long day, like 11 hours, but it was totally worth it. That was really fun. And I got there, and at first we were just kind of helping like the vendors there, all the different food vendors. It was just a lot of fun. So there were, how many? Maybe 6, 7, 13, I don't know, about 20 or maybe more food vendors there. And that was a lot. You know, it's kind of a lot. It didn't seem like a lot, but like just going through, it's like, oh wow, this is actually a lot of food that they're serving here. And our job there was to actually like regularly tape, and that was all fine. So we did that like every 2 hours and went around to all the different food. You know, the vendors were really nice, saying, "Hey, do you want to come try this?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I want to try that. It looks so good." And the music was fun, so I did a wristband, and we could like take the tag off and then redeem it at Q Smokery for a slider. So the dish that I got there, it was the barbecue pulled pork sliders, and it had coleslaw on it. And oh my gosh, it was so good. I don't even really like coleslaw that much, but on the slider, it was really awesome. That was just so good. So I had that. There were like 2 small sliders, and I just loved it. It was like the perfect amount. It was delicious. They also, who was there? They had, Rouse's was there serving, they had some different foods. I know they had ribs there. A bunch of people had ribs. There was Blue Oak had ribs. Food Drunk had rib tips. And oh my gosh, Food Drunk's line was ridiculous. It was like 2 lines. They were packed. They like, and them, I think, and maybe a few other vendors like Blue Oak and some other people like sold out of their food, which was awesome for them. So I was really happy. There were so many great people there, like Boo-Ray. They do the wings. They had really great wings, and I got to try some of their wings. And they said, "Hey, you want to try this?" So I tried it, and I was like, "Oh, is it spicy?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's not too spicy." So I bite it, and I was like, "Oh, yep, it's pretty spicy." My lips were kind of tingling, but I still ate it because it had a really great flavor. But it was worth it. And they also had La Divina Gelateria, and their line was really long as well. And I got a Satsuma sorbet and a cone there. That was so good. They had a lot of different options, but I ended up going with the Satsuma sorbet because I love Satsuma, and especially because it's Satsuma season, and it doesn't last, very, very long. You gotta, just take it when you have it. So I got that, and it was so yummy. I'm so glad that I got that. And there were so many other great food vendors there and, restaurants, and it was a fantastic festival. I had so much fun, and I'm glad I got to go to that. Great people and music and everything, so I loved that. Well, take a break for some barbecue. We'll be right back. I'm Kid Chef Eliana, and you're listening to Cool Kids Cook. Welcome back to Cool Kids Cook. I'm Kid Chef Eliana. I had a great past couple of weeks, as I was saying, and it involved having a lot of fun with my friends. So I actually slept over at my friend Kenzie's house, and we had a lot of fun. So I went over to her house, and we actually played cooking Scrabble. She had actually never played Scrabble before, and she actually got the concept very quickly, but we played cooking Scrabble, which is so much more fun than regular Scrabble, and it involves these like recipe cards that have like different things on them that you can do whenever it's your turn, like whether it's skip a turn and like get points from everyone or whatever, or have the other person, you can like play anywhere on the board or something like that. It just depends, and it's a really fun game, and you get more points if you do use cooking words. So it was just a lot of fun, and a lot of that, and it was just a lot of fun. We stayed up till like 4 a.m. It was crazy, and then we woke up around like 11, and we played apples to apples, and we did each other's makeup. She made mine look really, really awesome, and then I don't do my makeup that often, and so I'm trying to do hers, and she looks like a freaking clown. It looked so bad. From far away, it looked okay, but like if you went up close, it was so horrible. It was so bad. But it was still really, really funny. So it was just a lot of fun. And then I also went to my other friend, lot of fun. So got there, they were playing music, and the theme was denim and diamonds. So I wore this like really sparkly dress, and they went all out for the Sweet 16. It was amazing. Her mom is a cake baker, and so her mom and her aunt made this giant, amazing like 4-tiered cake or something like that. It was beautiful, and just everything. The decorations were awesome. They like rented out a pavilion, and it was indoors. So this is really fun. They had like a DJ there, and we had it was like a late party too. It was crazy. It was from like 8 to midnight. I know, it was wow, and it was a lot of fun. They played danced, and they had a photo booth. They had these virgin like bubblegum daiquiris, and it was awesome. So it was a really, really fun party. Then at the end, they had a second line with like Mardi Gras Indians and a whole band. And then after the second line, like we second lined out of the building, and they gave us like the second line umbrellas and handkerchiefs, and everything was like had like the like it was in like, I don't know, not the word embroidered, but like everything had like Kiwani and Tyler Sweet 16 all over it. It was awesome, like the cake, the everything. So that was really fun. And we walked out in the second line, and then all of a sudden Kiwani gets like a brand new car for her Sweet 16. I was just like, oh my gosh, are you kidding? And then she starts crying, and it was really awesome. So we had a really great time. And then I also did some filming with the Food Network. I can't say what it is, but it's on an upcoming project. That was fantastic. my friends and I, well, they did some filming of just me, and then they also did some filming with me and my friends. So I did, like the filming at home, and then they filmed my cooking demonstration at the Southern Freedom Beverage Museum. I made pasta lot, a lot of good times that day. Let's say we got some like New Orleans jazz music, and I did my demo and just kind of walked in the French Quarter. So it was a lot of fun, just getting to hang out with my friends. So I had a really, really fun day with them. And then I went to a Domino Sugar event back at SoFab, different weekend, at the Southern Freedom Beverage Museum. And there they had this lecture that was so awesome with Eric Griggs, who also known as Doc Griggs. He's a doctor. And he did a fantastic lecture, just about how people need to, really know what real food is, like to taste it. And he kind of talked about like the science behind the food, like in people's tasting, and it was a fantastic one. And so I talked to him, and we just hit it off. It was awesome. We had so many people like in common and like all these connections. So hopefully I'll get him on my radio show, and I'll be on his radio show. So we're gonna work all of that out. It's gonna be so awesome. And then the vice president of Domino's Sugar was there, and she invited us to have dinner with them at their company dinner at Perlu, which is like on the other side of the curtain from Southern Freedom Beverage Museum. And the dinner was amazing. Like, it was a fabulous, fabulous dinner. The stuff that we had was incredible. I mean, it was crazy. We ordered 2 different small plates, like appetizers. We got the Southern board, which had chutney, fried pickles, these really awesome house-made crackers, and this like pimento cheese and pickled okra, and that board was just incredible. Like, it was awesome. Like, the cheese with the crackers, oh my gosh, that was so good. And then we also got the roasted beets with like cauliflower gardeniera. I forgot what it's called. It was really good. It was like pickled, and it had the roasted beets and this like this straw, like a kind of like a cheese straw or like something like that. It was really good. And then we also had we all got our own entrees. So I got the curried goat on banh mi bread, and that was yummy. My mom got, what did she get? She got the hanger steak. That was so good. And then our friend Miss Veronica got the pecan-crusted short rib, and it had this mac and cheese with like this nice like crust on top, like a cheesy crust. Oh my gosh, the short ribs and the mac and cheese, that was my favorite. We all shared each other's, and it was so good. We had awesome entrees. And then we got dessert. Now, let me just tell you, I'm just going to tell you, we got 6 desserts. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but we did. And I can't even remember all the desserts we had, but we had, tres leches. That was the best tres leches I've ever had. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't really like soggy tres leches, and this wasn't soggy. It had like the milk, the 3 milks around it, and then the cake in the middle. Oh my gosh, it was so good, with a mango sorbet on top and like a caramelized plantain chip. Oh, that was so good. There was a apple, one of those, a handmade pie. like a hand pie, an apple hand pie with like this bread underneath it. It was really yummy, kind of like a Hubig's pie. There was a cantaloupe rosemary sorbet with like these ginger snap cookies. Oh my gosh, that was so good. We were literally fighting over the sorbet. That's how awesome it was. And we got the last sorbet, and we wanted to order like 2 more. It was crazy. That's how awesome it was. Got this like chocolate dessert. I don't remember what it was. It was kind of like moussey, almost like light. It was dense. I don't know how to describe it. It was so good. And it rind, that was yummy. Then there was, oh my gosh, a buttermilk chess pie. We had the special dessert from Chef Ryan Hughes. He sent it out to us, and that was awesome. I don't remember what it was. It was like a pudding or a custard. It was really creamy, or maybe it was a pot de creme. It might have been a pot de creme. I can't quite remember. It had whipped cream on top, and it was so good with the satsuma glaze and madeleines, and oh my gosh, it was fantastic. We were just fighting over that too. It was awesome. So that was an amazing dinner, and I would totally go back there and eat more food there. And then in Culinary at Noca, we were in Spain. We made croquettes. That was like serrano ham croquettes. We had like chorizo and serrano manchego, paella, stuffed piquillo peppers, tortilla, which is not like a Mexican tortilla that we think of, like you do burritos or tacos. It's actually an egg and potato omelet, which is really good. What else? We did some octopus. We did an octopus salad with like oranges and other greens in there. It was really yummy. And then we did calamari. That was so much fun. I actually really I've never worked with calamari before, like with squid before, and it was actually really fun, like taking it apart and prepping it. I don't know, I just really liked that. So we did the deep fried and some pan fried ones, and that was really good. We did like Romanesco, or the Romesco sauce and chimichurri, Spanish version, and a garlic aioli, and everything was really, really awesome. We did like these kind of like flatbread things. I don't remember what it's called in Spanish, but it was really great, and they did a bunch of different versions of it. Everything was really awesome, and I loved, doing all the different Spanish dishes. They were really, really yummy. Well, that's all for this week, and I leave you with this quote from Gandhi. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Kid Chef Eliana with Cool Kids Cook. Bon appetit. I'll see you next week.